State Circle is made by MPT to serve all of our diverse communities and is made possible by the generous support of our members. Thank you.
She wondered what her family would do if she were true to herself. She finally told her family about the relationship. Her worst fears came true.
The debate over gay conversion therapy takes a personal turn.
Maybe we should change those signs on our border from Maryland is open for business to Maryland is open for a business.
They've been a good corporate partner for us.
Heated debate on the price of new jobs.
There's only one African-American owner who has a license in a state where 1/3 of the population is African-American.
And changes to medical marijuana laws.
Connecting Marylanders to their government. This is State Circle.
Good evening. The big story around State Circle this week, pressing the buy button. After intense debate, lawmakers approved a multi-billion-dollar purchase of jobs from Amazon.com. The state is in the running to win the company's second headquarters.
This is a no-brainer. This is the greatest economic opportunity in the history of the United States.
Is it a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to jumpstart economic growth or a multi-billion-dollar handout to one of the world's wealthiest companies?
Maybe we should change those signs on our border from Maryland is open for business to Maryland is open for a business, because there's a difference, and our small businesses and working families get it. They aren't stupid.
We're not writing a blank check. We're staggering incentives provided only after promises are met at every step of the way.
It is ridiculous for us as public servants to go on record in this state with our people watching with both eyeballs that we're going to give this guy, the richest man in the world, $6.5 billion bribe.
You can better believe that the other 20 states who are competing for this company are putting every tool possible in their Department of Commerce to make sure that these jobs go to their state.
Montgomery County made the cut as one of the finalists under consideration for tens of thousands of new economy jobs. The governor proposed backing that bid with transportation improvements and potentially $3 billion in tax benefits that are tied to future wages of new Amazon workers.
I'm proud to report that today that they have secured over 1,100 jobs in Cecil County. They've been a good corporate partner for us. They've also done similar things in Baltimore City and Baltimore County. We want the rest of the state to benefit too.
To me, one of the telling things of this company is how they treat the people at the bottom of the ladder, and they don't treat them well. And I hear that directly from workers. And if you look online very quickly right now, you'll see just how bad it is for them. And that's what concerns me about Amazon.
The House vote was 79 to 59. Amazon expects to make a decision this year. Debate on a controversial bill to ban gay conversion therapy took a personal turn when one legislator opened up about her experiences to a suddenly very quiet House of Delegates chamber. MPT's Yolanda Vasquez was there.
I rise today to be the voice for children who are currently subjected to conversion therapy.
Delegate Megan Simon-Air read from her prepared written statement the reasons why she would vote in favor of Senate Bill 1028.
Conversion therapy is so tragic a practice that minors have taken their own lives after being subjected to it.
The demure delegate started to gain the attention of legislators by sharing a story in the third person.
I want to tell you about a girl who grew up in the best family she could imagine.
Little did anyone realize Simon-Air was recounting her life story and the struggles she faced trying to accept her sexual orientation.
She wondered what her family would do if she were true to herself. She finally told her family about the relationship. Her worst fears came true. Her parents were heartbroken and disgusted by her devious actions.
Simon-Air says she never had to endure conversion therapy and hopes her testimony will do the same for others.
If this bill keeps even one child from that, it will be worth sharing my story with you today.
Delegate Bonnie Cullison, who sponsored the House bill to ban conversion therapy for minors, says Simon Eyre is one brave woman.
For those of us who are gay and lesbian, that moment of coming out to people is, no matter how old you are, is always tricky. For her to do that in a room of almost 140 people was something that I will always be proud of and inspired by.
Going public with her story put Delegate Simon Eyre at odds with her father, Senator Brian Simon Eyre. Yes, he's in the legislature too. The Republican from Pasadena voted against banning conversion therapy and felt he needed to set the record straight too. In a personal column to Capital Gazette, Senator Simon Eyre says he voted against the poorly drafted legislation for several reasons, offering counseling and support when his daughter recently revealed her bisexual preferences.
What is not broken cannot be fixed. I repeat, what is not broken cannot be fixed.
What this does is it affirms our LGBTQ youth and says to them, you know, we value you, we support you, and we're going to protect you under the law.
In Annapolis, I'm Yolanda Vasquez for State Circle.
A show of political muscle this week in a battle over control of school construction money. Lawmakers have voted to remove power from the Board of Public Works. At Wednesday's meeting of that board, the governor dramatically stamped the bill with a veto, signed that, and then crossed out the bill's text.
There's the bill. Let me be very, very clear. Anyone who votes to override this veto will be voting against transparency, against accountability in education, against fiscal responsibility, and against the wishes of an overwhelming majority of Marylanders.
This shouldn't have been about Democrat or Republican. It should be about school children and schools. And again, schools being built by taxpayers' dollars where they're needed.
Both chambers voted to override the veto. The new law is also aimed at punishing Comptroller Francho, a member of the board, for joining the governor in demanding air conditioning in certain schools. Both houses have now passed legislation to add new medical marijuana licenses in an effort to diversify that new industry. Josh Davidsburg has more.
It almost seemed like deja vu. Lawmakers debating a bill that expands medical marijuana up till the end of the session. But last year, the legislature did not pass it.
It's critically important. It's important for the patients. It's important for the diversity that we should have in this multi-billion-dollar industry.
Delegate Cheryl Glenn sponsored the bill. It would expand the number of growers and processors and target more minority-owned businesses.
We are showing the country that this is important. Diversity, this is 2018. This is not Mississippi in the 1950s.
The bill changes the number of growers from 15 to 22, and it changes the number of processors from 15 to 30. It also gives the opportunity to 2 growers who applied last time but narrowly missed it. The bill also adds a compassionate use fund to defray the cost to those who need it. That money comes from license costs.
There's only one African-American owner who has a license in a state where 1/3 of the population is African-American.
The bill had some heated arguments this week as some amendments were added.
The amendments that we are currently offering is already embodied in the bill, so this is my reason for not voting for your amendment.
And some were shot down. The bill passed the Senate with a vote of 42 to 3.
So we went from 15, which should have been 18, we're now at 22. And we're going ahead and we're using law, statutory law, to pull out 2 people, 2 licenses and grant them, but then everybody else has to go and apply.
Senator J.B. Jennings says he supports medical marijuana, just not this bill.
I just have concerns with that, with the way that transparency it's being done.
Despite anyone else's concerns, Glenn says it's worth the fight.
I've been working on this issue since my first session, which was 2007. There has been nothing easy about medical marijuana/cannabis.
In Annapolis, I'm Josh Davidsburg for State Circle.
Maryland is among the states that are suing to block a census question about citizenship. Attorney General Frosch and the Maryland Legislative Latino Caucus say that adding this question will lead to inaccuracies in Maryland's population count and will impact federal funding.
People who are here with green cards, with visas, and people who are citizens are going to be intimidated by this question, and we fear that the undercount will encompass them as well.
In the state of Maryland, 15% of Marylanders are immigrants, and at least 11% of U.S.-born individuals have an immigrant parent. So a significant portion of our population would be affected.
The Trump administration says the citizenship question is needed for enforcement of the Voting Rights Act. A federal lawsuit concerning Governor Hogan's Facebook page has been settled. The ACLU filed suit on behalf of several individuals whose comments had been blocked by the governor's staff. The agreement requires the state to pay the plaintiff $65,000 and agree to not delete critical comments in the future. And joining us for this week's Annapolis Face-Off, Delegate Herb McMillan, a Republican from Anne Arundel County, and Delegate Frank Turner, a Democrat from Howard County. Gentlemen, thanks to both of you for being with us.
Thank you,
Jeff.
So this week's segment isn't a debate like we usually do, more of a valedictory, because both of you are retiring from the legislature, not running for re-election. I'll ask both of you first to just talk me through what that decision process was like.
Go ahead, Frank.
Well, you know, for the most part, I looked at it and I said, you know, I've been here for 24 years. I've had a chance to get a lot accomplished. And you know, at every point and stage in your life, you've got to make a decision when is the time to leave. And it's just my time. I'm getting older, and I just think, you know, I want to go out with, I have accomplished some things, and I have good health, and I think it's time to spend more time with my family, with my grandkids, to do some traveling and do some things that I really would like to do.
That sounds good. Delegate McMillan, you're a few years younger, a few years less in the legislature. What went into the decision for you?
Well, I served for 12 years, and I was on the city council of Annapolis before that, and active with a lot of associations. So I've been in politics for about 20 years, really, Jeff. And what was it? Ronald Reagan had a great quote. He said, "Always leave them wanting more." So I figured I would leave before I overstayed my welcome. And I've had a good time here in the legislature. I've enjoyed the public service, but like Frank, you know, I'm turning 60. It'll be nice to have, most of my adult life, I've either had 2 or 3 jobs because of the Navy Reserve. It'll just be nice to have one job for a change and be an airline captain and enjoy life a little bit.
So you both had outside
I think that
careers, and Herb as an airline pilot, as you said, and Frank, lawyer and professor. Talk a little about the citizen legislature thing. Does it still work well? We have, I guess, more people are, increasingly we have full-time legislators.
Well, there are a lot of full-time legislators, but a lot of those are individuals who are married and they have husbands who are wives that are working. Some people, that's what they use their lifestyle or maintain their lifestyle to spend the entire year as a legislator. But I think the most important thing is that you can have an opportunity to serve people for the time that you're there, and to sit in here in a room where you're one of 141 people of 6 million people in the state. It really brings a lot of pride, and it brings a lot of nostalgia to you every day.
I think Maryland's one of only 2 states in the union left that's a part-time legislature, and I think that serves our citizens well. I know that the perspective I bring to the legislature is that of a person who has to go to work to earn their money. And I think when a person becomes a professional legislator or a congressman, that they're more apt to lose touch with people, the people in their district, the people in other businesses, because they're somewhat insulated on a day-to-day basis. They're usually in session. We're in session 3 months out of the year, and of course I live here. So it's hard for me to lose touch with people in Annapolis because I live here. I go to the bars here all year long, and yes, occasionally church too. So I guess my thought is that a citizen legislator is one who is going to be more in touch with his community, and I hope we don't ever lose that.
Give me some advice for, we have a lot of new faces in the legislature next session. Is there anything that you wish you had known when you were a rookie at this?
Well, one of the things the Speaker asked me to do when I became Vice Chair of Ways and Means was to mentor some of the new and young delegates that were coming in, because there's a lot they don't know, and you try to help them and bring them about so that they can be very active and make a big contribution in a very short period of time. So I mean, that's one of the things I've been trying to do, and I've really gotten to be very good friends with some of the younger ones, and you know, that's something I think that's very important, and they ought to recognize also that how important their constituents are, to respond to their constituents, to go to the community meetings, and to be a part of their constituents groups.
I think that Frank touched on most of the big ticket items. It's important to stay close to your community and not to think that you know what they're thinking, because when you start thinking like that, you usually don't. So you need to talk with people. And the thing I would tell them is that I found to be most important: if someone emails you and disagrees with you on a piece of legislation or an issue, pick up the phone and call them, talk to them. And in my experience, you'll either, half the time you'll win them over to your point because they'll understand it better, but even if they don't agree with you, they'll respect you and appreciate you because you took the time to talk about that issue with them. I've made it a point to do that in during my legislative career, and I've gained a lot from it. I think it's good advice for others to follow.
Before we go, any frustrations, anything you couldn't get done in your time in the legislature that you wanted to, or conversely, what was your proudest accomplishment in office?
Well, I think I have 2 or 3 things I'm really proud of. Probably the proudest thing was the adoption bills that I sponsored and got passed, which reunited adoptees to the birth parents and to their siblings. And I mean, I've been in contact with Department of Social Services, and there's been thousands of reunions as a result of that legislation. And I you know, as controversial as the gaming bills are, to be the floor leader on them and to realize today about $1.2 to $1.3 billion is going into the Education Trust Fund and to the purses, which is saving the horse racing industry. I mean, I have to look back and say, you know, it was good that we saved that industry.
You know, from my standpoint, being a Republican and in the minority party, there are a lot of small pieces of legislation that I've passed over the years that I was proud of, and most of them changed laws that I thought were bad and hurt people or were just unnecessary. From the big picture perspective, I'm proud that I never changed my mindset because of who sat in the governor's chair. I've been consistent throughout, and I've been honest about what I believe in throughout. I haven't ever voted a way that wasn't in accordance with my conscience. And I'm not sure that everybody in this place can say that. Not that I'm judging them. I'm just proud that I did it that way. And you know, as my time in the legislature comes to a close, I'm very pleased with what I was able to give voice to here. I think I did speak out on behalf of the minority that needed to be heard. And I'm hopeful that at some point in time that minority will grow. That's been part of my mission, and I'm proud to have added a little bit to it.
Delegates McMillan and Turner, still members of the General Assembly. Gentlemen, thank you for your time.
Thank you. I've always enjoyed it.
We're back with the Political Roundtable right after this.
Are you turning 70 and a half this year? If so, you generally have to start spending down your retirement account. Even the minimum distribution can place you in a sticky situation. Luckily, you can now use your IRA to make tax-free gifts. Gifts up to $100,000 will never count as income, but always make a difference. That's icing on the cake.
Make your gift for this year before December 31st. Visit mpt.org/support.
This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood.
We are the curious.
Wow!
The adventurous.
Oh!
Those venturing out for the first time.
And those who've never lost our sense of wonder.
Whoa! You seen this?
We are the hungry.
The strong.
I must be the greatest!
The joyful.
A happy little cloud. We believe there is always more we can uncover.
More we can explore.
We believe in the capacity for goodness.
And the potential for greatness.
The torch has been passed to a new generation of Americans.
PBS. PBS.
PBS.
And back to the State House, where Yolanda Vasquez is joined by Kelsey Luce of the Frederick News Post. Legislature adjourns Monday night. A lot of bills still pending, including the crime bill that passed the Senate. What's happening there?
So, Jeff, this is the #1 priority in the legislative session. You know, there are parts of this bill that legislators can get behind, primarily the funding for the Safe Streets initiative. But there are other parts of this bill that they really can't support, and a lot of it has to do with the enhanced mandatory sentencing. The Legislative Black Caucus, the Latino Caucus, they say they're not in favor of this bill right now. But interestingly enough, Baltimore City Mayor Catherine Pugh supports this legislation. She says that she welcomes the additional resources and says also that it will strengthen the hand of justice in dealing with repeat violent offenders. Kelsey, what have you heard?
Yeah, I've heard similar things. Right now, the bill's in the House Appropriations Committee. It got through the House Judiciary. And so the issue, like you say, that this bill is going to face is some of those more controversial elements. Lawmakers have been contacted by criminal justice reform advocates and, as you say, the caucus. So we'll have to see where that goes, because there's not much time left in the session for them to act on it.
No, there isn't much time, and I did speak to one Baltimore City delegate who told me that what will most likely happen, it will move in 2 tracks, the stuff that's easy to vote for and the stuff that's controversial. But as it stands right now, it is dead in the House, in his opinion.
Governor's already signed some bills into law, including, I guess it's a patch for the Obamacare exchange, for want of a better term.
Yeah, he signed into law about a half a dozen bills. Some of them were more housekeeping items, the BRFA and a curative bill, things that most of us don't know anything about. But yes, the establishment of the reinsurance program through the Maryland Health Benefit Exchange, this is something that Delegate Jocelyn Pena-Melnick had been working very hard on for quite some time, and it'll seek a solution to stabilize the individual insurance market. It received bipartisan support, and she was ecstatic that the governor actually signed this into law and has his full support. And Kelsey, you were covering some other bills that he signed into law.
Right. Another one he signed into law was the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative bill. So what this bill does is it essentially makes it so that the legislature would have to approve the governor withdrawing from that regional agreement. And so this comes on the heels of several years ago, Governor Chris former Governor Chris Christie of New Jersey did just that. So the legislature here in Maryland is kind of trying to make it so that the Maryland governor doesn't have that authority on his own.
Now, interesting, Jeff, also the governor did not sign a bunch of bills, effectively turning them into law, about a dozen bills, one of which I covered last week, which was the automatic voter registration. This does not affect the 2018 elections. This wouldn't take place until July of 2019. But the idea behind it is you'd go to the MVA, a lot of local social service agencies, the Maryland Health Benefit Exchange, and they would basically have your information and say, you are now automatically registered to vote. Would you like to opt out? Which sort of shifts the premise of the question, right? Which kind of makes it interesting. But Delegate Eric Lutke, who sponsored this, that said about there are 500,000 people in Maryland who are eligible to vote, but they are not registered to vote. And this would help in underrepresented populations. Now, there was a bill that you took a look at, too, that effectively went into law. What was that about?
Right. This is House Bill 1316. And what it does is creates a study to study the role of the comptrollers, to look at the comptroller's role in regulating alcohol. This is a bit of political back and forth coming after the comptroller's reform on tap bill. Some legislators took issue with the comptroller proposing legislation on alcohol when he's tasked with regulating alcohol. So this bill will study that role.
Take a look at the alcohol a little more closely, Jeff.
A little bit of a brushback pitch to the comptroller there. What's happening? We just had Frank Turner on. He has a bill increasing the penalties for people texting. Oh, we're out of time here. So quickly, people texting while driving, the potential fine, Yolanda, cut from $500 to
about $250, and they'll add a point. But it has to go to the House now, so that's what the Senate did today. We'll see what happens after that.
Very good. Kelsey, Yolanda, have a great weekend. Thank you very much. Monday on Direct Connection, we're joined live by Governor Hogan on the last night of the General Assembly. We'll get your questions for the governor. That's live at 7 on Monday. Now, for all of us at MPT, I'm Jeff Salkin. Thanks for watching State Circle, and have a good night.
This program was made by MPT to serve all of our diverse communities.
TV Worth Watching is supported by the members of MPT and by...
If you or a loved one has difficulty speaking after a stroke, the League can help. More than just speech therapy, the League's SCALE program has tools and resources available to go on living well with aphasia.
DC Tours and Transportation, the veteran-owned business that is focused on giving back to our community.
We give back to the community so much because the community is what supports us.
Learn more at WashingtonDCTours.com.
My UB experience has been one that's really allowed for a diverse number of transferable job skills. Knowledge that works truly means whatever you learn here is going to be applicable out there.
Have you heard of the Thurgood Marshall College Fund? It's the largest organization supporting the HBCU and Black college community, offering scholarships, internships, and good jobs to qualified students and alumni. Visit tmcf.org to learn more.
Artworks is MPT's weekly on-air arts salon.
My motivation is a very personal one.
Get the insider track on artists from across the country and the world.
Our artists are an eclectic group of creative minds.
Discover our area's diverse artists, musicians, and writers.
Our village was a repository of dreams.
Join Rhea Fiken and her local co-hosts every week on Artworks. Tonight at 7:30 on MPT.
Public Square on MPT. It's TV worth watching.
The MPT app puts our programs right at your fingertips, so you can choose when to watch, what to watch, wherever you want to watch it. Download it now.
Looking for MPT channels in your area? Visit mpt.org/coverage.
TV Worth Watching is supported by the members of MPT and by...
Baltimore Symphony Orchestra celebrates Leonard Bernstein's centennial into Bernstein with Love. Marin Alsop leads the BSO in music from West Side Story and On the Town, featuring violinist Nicola Benedetti May 4th through 6th.